Hello and welcome to Alien 616 The Dark Ages. This is a role playing game set in a heroic horror setting using the Marvel multiverse role playing system. I'm Tom. I'm going to be the narrator for these series of one shots, and I'm joined by an all star cast of players who are going to introduce themselves.
Hi, my name's Kenny. I'm playing Dr. Simon Appleby, also known as Pioneer.
My name's Ryan. I'm going to be playing Snapshot, also known as Agent Ame Chambers.
Hi, I'm Colin. I'll be playing Lionheart, also known as John McKenzie.
Hi, I'm Will. I'm going to be playing Christopher, and my alias is also Mackenzie.
Won't be any confusion because of that. Okay, let's dive in. So this is the Alien 616 The Dark Ages roleplay. As I said, this is part of a larger West Marchers campaign that we're joining in. There are some other creators making some content. This is kind of all spun off from a creator called Fuzzy on the Details, who's kind of started this with a system setting in New York. Our particular story is taking place somewhere a little different, though. 15 days ago, an armada of alien starships materialized around Earth, a silent harbinger of doom. But before humanity could even brace for an attack, the fleet began plummeting from the skies, crashing into cities across the globe with terrifying precision. One of these colossal vessels has struck London, the heart of Britain and the soul of the nation. The ship tore through Big Ben, smashing the iconic clock tower into rubble before making a cataclysmic landfall amid the Houses of Parliament. In the hours and days that followed, London and much of England descended into chaos. The annihilation of the country seat of power and the death of many of its leaders has left the nation adrift, but the true horror has only just begun. Alien forces within the wreckage have spread through London like a virulent contagion, turning streets into panic-stricken labyrinths of terror. Amid the chaos, authorities have scrambled to restore enough order to evacuate the city. The lockdown that followed was absolute, with the military encircling London within an iron grip. Britain's premier superhero team, Excalibur, were dispatched to investigate the fallen vessel. Yet, like countless heroes across the world, they have vanished without a trace. Now, MI13, the UK's elite agency for paranormal and extraterrestrial threats, stands as the last line of defence. The fate of London and the truth behind the nightmare that has befallen the Big Smoke hangs by a thread. Our first scene opens on a room swallowed in shadow, save for the harsh blue glow of multiple screens. We see an exhausted man sitting before them, his piercing blue eyes catching the light, his black hair lost and messy. He stirs the contents of a battered mug with a pale finger, sipping absent-mindedly as the screens flicker. Faces flash past. We see heroes and agents. Each dossier a frozen moment, more stamped with cold, unforgiving letters. MIA or KIA. Finally he pauses. His fingers hover over the keyboard, and with a deliberate click of the mouse, he selects 4 dossiers. Agents still in play, still alive, and possibly the best that he has left.
First dossier is for Dr. Simon Appleby. It notes in his bio that he is a Cambridge-educated exobiologist and engineer, that he has a high degree of knowledge about different forms of life, and that he is the developer of the Pioneer Mark I diving suit, which resists incredible crush depths, and there's probably a note on there saying "Mother?" Pressure point? Question mark.
Second dossier is for an active agent by the name of Ame Chambers, who is a code name of Snapshot. Formerly of the London Met Police, she was commended for outstanding bravery during a Skrull attack almost a decade ago, which put her on MI13's radar. She's firearms certified and has got an analytical mind and has a record of numerous missions with MI13 in her recent years.
So the third dossier looks over a man called Christopher Kingstown Baker. He is in charge of media relations for MI13. The notes on his file say that he's a skilled spin doctor, has been at this for some time. In terms of abilities, he's known for poltergeist manipulation, specifically of a one George Bloody Mackenzie. And then there's notes about the poltergeist abilities of flight, incorporeal nature, and the casting of green flames. In terms of notable actions, he's noted as being part of Operation Mirage, where he helped successfully manipulate public perception during a high-stakes supernatural incident, diverting attention from crucial MI13 operations, and a redacted entry simply named The Bloody Incident.
John Mackenzie, aka Lionheart, he's 27. He was an officer in the Glasgow service, 4 years in the normal division and then 2 years in armed response. He's been with MI13 for less than a year. He was he brought down the notorious Campbell crime family in Glasgow's East End and took out a notorious bank robber by the name of John McPhee, aka the Tyrant, when he was robbing a bank. He is an expert in hand-to-hand combat, and it notes in his special notes that he has inherited some sort of mystical blade.
So as we see those dossiers kind of flash up, we then move to a scene in a bunker. The four of you have been sort of sequestered in this bunker within the heart of London. This is an MI13 safe house that you have been operating out of for the last sort of week amidst the chaos of the evacuation of London. Now that London is on lockdown, you're all kind of trapped in here as part of the MI13 operation to kind of deal with this situation and find out exactly what's going on. We see the four of you sat in a sort of living area / sleeping area. The safe house is pretty snug. It's kind of underground. You've got kind of bunks that you rest in, a bit of space that you can kind of relax in, although it's all a little tight. But there is an armory. There's comms equipment that you can kind of get radios to and forth sort of command, where you can get your orders, which have largely been focusing around assisting with the evacuation of late. You have a kitchen as well, and there's enough space that you can get a little bit of breathing room now and then. As we see the four of you sitting at the tables not far from the beds that you sleep in, why don't you describe what our MI13 agents look like? We'll go in reverse order. So, Colin, do you want to start with the description of Lionheart?
Yeah, he's relatively well built, a shade over 6 foot. He clearly kind of works out. He is clean shaven, has short brown hair, blue eyes, constantly looks like he's ready to go to the gym, and is usually in his tactical suit whenever he's expecting trouble.
Awesome. Will, do you want to describe what Chris looks like?
Well, I imagine at this moment in time, Christopher's looking quite stressed. You know, he'll be sat in a chair, ruffling through his receding hairline with his left hand, a cigarette in the other. He's not clean shaven, but it's not full on stubble. It's just a bit of a shadow. He hasn't had time to keep to himself. He's been too busy. He wears what once again was quite smart clothing. We're talking like a suit with a jumper underneath. Looks to be a nice shirt. Again, it's slightly dusty, slightly dirty, and he carries himself with a remotely serious demeanour about him. In terms of physicality, he's quite slight, but seems to have that kind of wiry strength to him, and he's got a sense of foreboding over him. He's definitely taking things seriously right now.
Ryan, what does a snapshot look like?
Snapshot is relatively young, late 30s. She's 5'2", 120 pounds. Brown hair, sort of like kept quite short. And she's currently fussing over just essentially like a cloth where a handgun has been disassembled, and she's meticulously cleaning parts.
Okay. And Kenny, what does Dr. Appleby look like?
Dr. Appleby is a very thin, reedy-looking young man, maybe in his mid-20s. His hair is cut in almost like a kind of a bowl cut, like his mum just put a porridge bowl over his head and cut his hair around it. He is sitting in a shirt, tie, and lab coat, which you've mostly seen him wear kind of universally for the time you've known him. At the moment, he looks very pensive, like he's waiting for something to happen, and is busying himself by trying to build a house of cards. You've never seen him play cards, but he does seem to build houses of cards quite a bit.
You have all been here for the day. It is sort of early evening at this point, so you're all probably getting a little restless. There's been no orders come down today, which in and of itself is perhaps a little bit disconcerting. But with the evacuation largely complete, it's not really clear what part you're going to play in the situation. Perhaps some of you are itching at the bit to go and investigate the crash site and learn more from there. Perhaps some of you would rather do anything but investigate the crash site. But the day has kind of dragged on. What do you think the conversation's been over the course of the day, if any?
I imagine there's been a lot of asking about what are we here for.
Mm-hmm. I think maybe those questions have been posed to the two field agents, and Ami's like, as soon as you hear a radio go off, you'll be among the first to know.
Christopher has probably spent a lot of time with one hand with that cigarette, the other hand on his mobile, searching for any news, any information he can get. If it's not coming down from on high, maybe it's out there in the wild. But he's found nothing.
Yeah, the information that's coming through kind of over sort of conventional media, both within the UK and further afield, is very confused at the moment. It's very clear that this is not isolated to the UK, although there have been several crashes within the UK, not just London has been affected. It's clear this is extended across the globe, and the same sort of chaos, confusion, and disruption that has impacted London and the surrounding area has spread to other parts of the world, similarly impacted. There's a lot of speculation, as there often is with these things over the last few weeks, about who's responsible for this, and there's a multitude of theories. One name that does keep coming up, and that you have had confirmed by your superiors in the past few days, is that the alien vessels and the aliens that initially emerged from them are initially of a species known as the Badoon. The Badoon are not someone that Earth has had a lot of interaction with. They have been seen before. They're not an unheard of entity, but they seem to be the main instigators of whatever happened here. There's no clear reason, though, why all of these vessels appeared and then subsequently crash landed almost at the same time, as if that were part of the plan, although you wouldn't really understand why you would have that as part of a plan. It's a very confusing situation, and as you're sort of speculating on this and maybe flicking through your phone, you're all kind of interrupted by your reprieve from the comms system. You have a computer system in the room just to the south of your bunk room here, bleeping, alerting to you from to a communication from your seniors.
I'm going to turn that off. I'm trying to concentrate.
A snapshot will fold up the cloth and move over to the computer room.
Yeah, I'll move over and have a look at it as well.
Is Mackenzie following or staying in the bunk?
Mackenzie is going to stay in the bunk with his legs crossed, tapping his foot. He's still searching for for information. He doesn't like the lack of control in this situation.
So, Lionheart and Snapshot, you head into the room, but Chris / Mackenzie and Dr. Appleby, you can still hear what's going on. This place is like so tight that you can't really get out of earshot easily. Lionheart Snapshot, you go through, you see kind of incoming message blurting out from this console. As you bring up the message, you see the familiar face of the director of MI13. He's in a dark room. You can't really see what's behind him. His face is kind of lit. It looks like from the screen that is kind of illuminated in front of him. You see Director Wisdom. Pete Wisdom was formerly an agent within MI13 before he was promoted to director. And it is common knowledge within MI13 that he himself is a mutant. Is able to produce weapons known as hot knives that kind of were part of his reputation as a field agent. He's a pretty down-to-earth character, a little bit on the drier edge of things, but you can tell that the events of the last few weeks, especially the loss of Excalibur, who you speculate he probably had friends within, has hit him pretty hard, and he looks pretty haggard as his face appears. It kind of glances at the two of you as you pop up. Snapshot, Lionheart, are the others with you?
They're here.
They are.
Good. Apologies for the radio silence the last little while. We've had a few fires in the what's that word? Irons in the fire. That's the one. Sorry, it's been a lot. And we've got a bit of a situation. I'm afraid your days of dealing with simple evacs are behind you.
Why does that not give me the comfort I think that should?
No. You've been fortunate enough so far to avoid any direct encounters with the Badoon and whatever's going on at the heart of London, but I'm afraid the situation needs immediate action. We had dispatched another team of operatives in a covert attempt to infiltrate the remnants of the crash. The first attempt by Excalibur was a little bit of a go loud and go big approach, and clearly that didn't work. So with what little intel we've been able to draw together, we sent in another team of operatives, a little more versed in keeping things quiet. Initially, we feared they had suffered the same fate as Excalibur. Things fell silent for a little too long, but we had word from one of the agents, an operative named Harley Davis. She goes by Motormouth sometimes. He kind of rolls his eyes as he says that. Seems to be the only agent to have made it out of the crash site, and from the brief communication we got from her, she seems to have some intel, but she is heavily injured. She's managed to signal that she was making her way to St. Thomas's Hospital. It's not far from where the Houses of Parliament were, just across Westminster Bridge. I need you to mobilise your full team, take to the streets, get to St. Thomas's Hospital as quickly as you can, and try and find Harley and whatever data she has. Hopefully, she's still alive and she can tell you whatever she's seen and perhaps share whatever intel she's got, but at the very least, we need to confirm her status.
What's the priority, the information or the extraction?
Ideally both, but if it comes down to it at this point, you see, he kind of grits his teeth. We need information. We need to know what we're dealing with here.
Acknowledged.
Understood.
This is more than just a simple alien invasion. There's something else at play here, something complicating things. We know that something about this crash.
And just
is
for the
right.
record, that her entire team and all of Excalibur have failed to report in, right?
That's right. Yep, we've lost all the active agents within Excalibur.
Third
And
time's a charm, eh?
understand, Lionheart, I don't want you going near that wreckage. We're not ready for that yet. I don't want to lose another team just yet. I need either the intel that Harley has or Harley herself.
We'll get on that, sir.
Well, those aren't your orders, so I have no intention of going anywhere near it.
Snapshot sort of gives Lionheart the side eye at the very specific qualification he just made there.
Keep your comms open, but know that the closer you get to the wreckage, the harder we found to get any signals through. And St. Thomas's is perilously close.
All right. We'll inform you once we've made contact, sir.
Good. Get on with it. And he cuts out.
Snapshot sort of sighs and starts looking up like best routes from wherever we are to the hospital. At least from what Google Maps would have had from 2 weeks ago. Today's going to be a bit of a trek, I imagine.
I think Harley Davis is a real name.
Well, Motormouth's her nickname. Yeah. You wouldn't change it to Harley Davis to buy Depot, would you? She says as she's like quickly typing in.
Depends on her age, or parents might be from the 60s or something.
Sorry, gentlemen, lady. I'm just confused. Are we going out
Yes,
to that into London right now?
into London
Yeah.
right now, yes.
Yes. With all of the crashed alien spacecrafts.
Yes, but we're not going near most of them.
We're only hoping to head to the hospital with St. Thomas's and getting this agent.
Quick rescue mission, and out 50 bob.
Do we have any form of transportation to get us there?
Legs work.
Okay.
I've got the Lionheart mobile.
You do not have the Lionheart mobile.
Yeah,
That's
it's
also
like-
not a thing.
I love to imagine it's like we have the Lionheart mobile, we look outside this very sleek black car, and there's suddenly part of an alien spaceship falls through it.
Yeah, just a piece of wreckage that hadn't crashed yet. Just straight through a sleek, black
that's-
sports car.
That's what he calls his Corsa.
You could take cars, so it would be possible to get a car, but you are aware, and you saw this during the evac, the roads are like chocker. Like when people tried to evac, a lot of people just crammed the roads with cars and ended up just ditching them. So getting any vehicle through that is going to be a nightmare. If you had access to like 4 motorbikes, maybe that might work, but you don't have 4 motorbikes at the moment.
Bet you Harley Davis did.
Also, the Pioneer Mark 1 suit, probably not that steady on a motorbike.
On the subject of that, if we're going outside into London, I am probably going to need a minute to
Change into something more appropriate.
yes, get on board the Pioneer.
So if you head out of your bunk area, you kind of walk up the corridor to the right. There is a bit of an expanse to the safe house. As much as it's kind of tight, there are a few different rooms, although they tend to be more functional. As you kind of head down the corridor to the right from the bunk area, you come through a set of double doors, and there's a metallic staircase that kind of leads up out of the bunker. There's a bulkhead door, like with one of the old-fashioned, like circular red wheels that you have to sort of unfasten. That gets you out to the surface. If you go around the side of that staircase, though, you can get into what you have kind of refurbished into your tech lab, which is where the power generator is. So you've kind of hooked the Pioneer Mark 1 armor suit up to a sort of jury-rigged system where you can recharge it. I assume it has some sort of power core of its own.
Does,
it's probably relatively self-sustaining, but this just kind of gives it that little bit of extra juice.
It would be very bad if that power core ruptured, but yes, it's
So yeah, you head in. What does the Pioneer suit look like?
So the Pioneer Mark 1 is pretty big and bulky. It's trying to fit a man inside of it, but it unhinges from a section in between the legs, sort of where the lower abdomen is. That unhinges, and you sort of climb up into it. When it's mobile, it's about 8 feet tall.
8 feet tall. Okay, wow.
Yeah, and quite wide.
Okay.
So it does have trouble with tight spaces. It is a prototype. That's why it's the Mark 1. Mostly humanoid shaped. It doesn't have like a faceplate or anything like that. It's a glass fronted thing, which is configured to the exact prescription of Dr. Appleby's glasses. So as he looks at the Pioneer Mark 1, he takes his glasses off, unhinges its lower midsection, we say, and then climbs up inside of it, tapping on a few buttons, closing it up, and lights come on through his face as he ages out.
Excellent. Okay, so you shift into the Pioneer suit. What preparations are the rest of you taking before you leave here? So just for context, this does have an armory, so you have access to like body armor, pistols, rifles. I would say there's probably a handful of grenades, but you probably want to use them relatively sparingly. You have a limited supply of those. You don't have any like alien weaponry or anything like that. This is all standard British military or police issue weaponry.
I think Snapshot will finish reassembling the pistol that she had, and maybe take some sort of like light SMG.
Okay.
And some body armor.
Okay.
Lionheart will take some body armor. He'll probably have a pistol, a shotgun, if there's one there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you can.
And he will fling his claymore over his back.
Okay. Will, you've seen...
He is not a fighter. He will have a pistol, and he will have gone and got himself probably a bulletproof vest from the armory, just so he has something.
Okay. So what I will say, for those of you who are utilizing a bulletproof vest, you will have the benefit of Sturdy 1, but you will only have it for the first combat that you take a hit in, essentially. It's not going to last a very long time. It's not part of your build, so it's kind of a temporary benefit. The same for Lionheart and Snapshot. If you're kind of strapping on some body armor and you're going kind of full, not riot police, but full combat armor, I will say you can have the benefit of Sturdy until you take a critical hit. So if someone gets a fantastic success against you, you'll have the benefits of Sturdy 1 if you don't already have them.
That's good.
Okay. All right. So strapped up in your combat armor or your bulletproof vests, and alternatively your prototype power suit, you're all ready to take leave of the safe house and head up onto the streets of London. Snapshot, you've got a route sort of in mind. Are you planning on taking sort of side streets and back alleys, or are you going to take the main thoroughfare?
I'm thinking side alleys until we see, like, essentially the plan is side streets unless we see like clear avenues that we can take up main streets.
Okay, I like it. All right. Now, something to bear in mind that you will all be aware of: the Pioneer armor is loud. So, whilst you can try and move quietly, anyone close is more likely to hear it. It's going to give Dr. Appleby trouble on any kind of like stealth checks that you attempt to make.
Does it come with an oxygen supply?
It very much does. It's designed for deep diving.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you all gear up. You make your way up the metallic staircases. You undo the bulkhead. the Pioneer suit has to really kind of like duck down and kind of make itself as small as it can to sort of step through. And you come out in an abandoned, long disused storefront. Moving through there, you step out onto the eerily abandoned streets of London. You look out around a city that would have once been filled with people and activity. Even in this late stage of the day, you know, we're kind of into early evening by this point. It's cold, it's sort of winter. There's a drizzle of rain, as there often is in the UK. And the skies are kind of have this perpetual cloud of dust from the debris from the impact that has never really fully settled, kind of adding this this kind of smoky, smoggy atmosphere to the streets. You could see cars abandoned all over the streets. There are, you know, spots of dried blood where there's obviously been incidents that have occurred a little further away from the storefront. And you can still see in the distance some buildings smoking where fires have broke out, where incidents have occurred perhaps as recently as a few days ago. But despite the scenes of carnage and chaos that have impacted the city, the streets now are barren. You know, you can see, aside from the rain hitting the tarmac and bits of debris and rubbish kind of getting caught up in the light winds, there isn't another soul around. And that in and of itself is probably a little uneasy, as you got used to so much noise in the last couple of weeks during the evacuation. You head away from the safe house, making a beeline towards St. Thomas's Hospital. It's about a 30-minute walk from where the safe house is situated, but you are able to sort of duck down side streets and alleys and kind of make pretty good ground. Occasionally you'll have to sort of cut across a main road. I would like you all, please, go ahead and give us the first dice rolls of today's game. I would like vigilance checks, please. So, you all are kind of keeping your wits about you as you're moving through the streets. You know well enough that there is potentially an enemy force present here, and you're kind of looking out for any signs of movement, any signs of activity or any threats. And for the most part of the journey, you don't really seem to see anything. You're about 20 minutes into your traversal across London. You're getting closer to sort of the crash site, and you can still see again plumes of black smoke billowing up, even weeks after this thing has hit. It's clear there's probably still some kind of fires raging away in the wreckage. I mean, this was a colossal spaceship that has crashed down, and the destruction it's wreaked across this area of London is cataclysmic levels. Snapshot and Lionheart, you kind of hear it first with your two fantastic successes. It was only a difficulty 10 check. It's this like slapping of feet on tarmac in the distance, and you can kind of hear that it breaks through the silence of the rain. The slap of kind of feet on wet tarmac, and then Christopher and Pioneer, you become aware of it when you hear the first scream from an alleyway not far from where you are. It's the scream of a woman, you think, and it kind of echoes through the empty labyrinth of the alleyways. What'd you do?
Look to Lionheart and say, we're going to have to check that, aren't we?
Yeah, take point. I'll bring up the rear. Everyone else moves information.
Got it. And Snapshot will pull the pistol and a flashlight and move towards the source of the screaming.
Okay. And you're all following suit?
Yeah, I'll bring up the rear and have the two non-combatants in between us.
Okay, so you kind of Snapshot's at the front. You've got Pioneer and Chris in the middle, and then Lionheart bringing up the rear, and you're running towards the screen. Okay. You dash down the side alleyway that you heard this coming from. The rain kind of beating on the back of your neck, or your armor in some cases. Your feet slashing down into the wet tarmac. You could see sort of through the haze of rain and debris, silhouettes of figures. There's a chain link fence kind of following the alleyway to your side that leads to a small car park. Some smaller buildings on your right hand side. You see a taller building, perhaps 3 stories just ahead of you, that the figures are illuminated by. And while the streetlights are still on across London, there's a lot that are either broken, or there looks to have been power cut to them, or there's that kind of ominous flickering from them as you sort of advance down this alleyway. And you see this silhouettes backlit by a semi-busted streetlight. It looks to be a human woman who's been sort of tackled to the ground. She's kind of being pushed down by this figure who is probably at least over 6 feet. Not lanky, but certainly lean and sinewy. Has this very cold sort of predatory presence. Where you would expect to see human flesh, you instead see this tight, greeny olive scales of a sort of reptilian physique. Almost has a militaristic natural camouflage. Has a slightly elongated serpentine head with these narrow, slit-pupiled yellow eyes. And you see its mouth filled with small, sharp teeth. It's wearing what looks like a relatively basic and clearly damaged suit of armor, although this is no armor design that you're familiar with. You would immediately recognize this from the reports that have gone out and the limited intel you've had from the director as a Badoon soldier. And as it is pushing this screaming woman to the ground, you see in its hand it has a pistol, and it's like looks like it's ready to execute her. What do you do?
Snapshot will sort of run up, shout at the attacker, and flash the flashlight at him before trying to take a shot at him.
Okay. Let's roll some initiative. Okay, so Snapshot, you did get a fantastic success. You were the only person who got one, so you get to go in the bonus round.
Great. Okay. So I'm gonna start off by closing distance speed. I can run 5, so I'm gonna run, and then I'm gonna pull up the pistol. As I say, I'm going to shout to make a noise, then flash the flashlight, hopefully in the thing's face as a distraction, as I pull up the pistol in the other hand and shoot him.
Okay, yep. Go ahead and give me an agility check then for an attack from your pistol.
Okay. 13.
13 will hit.
15 damage.
Okay, this does not have any sturdy. Its body armor looks too worn and damaged for that. So you did 15 damage. Oof. Okay.
As the thing hopefully reels from that, I'll shout for the civilian to get cover.
Yep, you kind of dash up alongside the chain link fence. You pop off a shot with your pistol, kind of rings through, echoes through the alleyway. You see this Badoon takes a shot to the shoulder, staggers back, still manages to kind of keep a hold of the civilian at the moment, but you've definitely pulled its attention. We're then going to go into regular initiative, and that's going to be a Pioneer first with a 14.
I'm probably going to attract its attention by going 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to use my action to move again.
Okay, so you're double moving.
4, 5, and I'll shout out, stop that, please, thank you.
Okay, so you sort of dash up around Snapshot, kind of the clank of the suit of armor, sort of banging down the alleyway. Definitely drawing attention as kind of this large 8 foot tall suit of armor comes running alongside 20 feet now away from the Badoon grunt. Chris / Mackenzie.
So I think what Chris is going to do is draw his pistol and he's going to move up to this corner next to the sort of barricade-looking bit, and he's actually going to point his gun the other way in case we've alerted other aliens that way here. So I'm going to basically watch for people coming behind us.
Okay, so you're moving forward, drawing your gun, and you're like scanning around for any additional threats?
Yeah, I'm looking behind us to see if anyone's coming and just to watch the rear.
Okay, give me a vigilance check. Let's see if you can spot any additional threats.
A vigilance check for you? Sure.
It's a vigilance check between friends.
Right.
That is a 7. That is not going to be successful. So you kind of cast your eyes around. You don't see anything beyond the immediate apparent threat. Okay, Snapshot, it is your turn this round.
Okay, Snapshot is going to get a little bit behind Pioneer and follow up with another shot to this creature.
Same one?
Same one as the only one I can currently see.
Oh, yes. Give her the game away a bit there.
Yeah, no worries.
There may be more than one. Who knows?
What? I'll try and act surprised.
Okay. Go ahead and give me an agility check if you're popping off another shot.
Yep. 15 to hit.
That is definitely a hit.
It's 13 damage.
13 damage. Okay. That Badoon grunt staggers back, barely still standing. This time you kind of catch him in the thigh. He kind of yells in pain, says something in a language you do not understand, and perhaps that's for the better, as he definitely felt that. At that moment, however, you see movement on the roof directly behind the Badoon, as another Badoon steps forward, kind of looking down over the lip of the roof, stepping out onto a metal stairway kind of leading down from the roof. You also hear footsteps from the south kind of coming up the alley, so not the way you came, kind of the other way, as the alley kind of turns off to the south past the car park. You see the shadow of what looks like another Badoon kind of moving. At least you think it's a Badoon. Perhaps you hope it's a Badoon, perhaps you don't. But either way, there looks to be at least 2 more individuals in the vicinity. As the one steps up, looking down at you, Snapshot, you see it produce a pistol. Looks very similar to the pistol held by the other one. Has that kind of slightly sci-fi-esque look to it. Looks a little bit more like a laser pistol. And it is going to pop a shot down at Pioneer, as you are large and armored, and it considers you a bit of a threat. So it's going to make an agility check against your agility defense. Gets a 15.
It does hit.
Okay, now you have sturdy 2.
I do, yes.
Okay, so as this hits you, it just bounces off the Pioneer suit. Clearly not able to damage such a hefty suit of armor. However, the other Badoon grunt now releases this civilian, turns, and he's going to pop off a shot at Snapshot.
Okay.
You see it raises the pistol and will brave a shot. Now, Pioneer, you could use your reaction to interpose if you want, step in front of the shot.
Yeah, if I can do that, I will step directly between Badoon and Snapshot.
Okay, so it will use the lower of your 2 defenses for its agility. It got an 18, so I imagine that would hit either of you.
Yep.
It is a fantastic success as well, which would be awesome. However, again, the Pioneer suit is designed to take like heavy pressures of underwater, and these relatively weak laser pistols are not able to penetrate it, even with a fantastic success. What I will say, though, because it was a fantastic success, it does knock you off balance, Pioneer. So you're going to take trouble on your next action as you kind of regaining your balance as a result of the impact. Lionheart.
Is it an action to draw a weapon?
No. Generally speaking, things like opening doors, drawing weapons in this system, you just do them as part of your action.
Okay, then I will draw my claymore.
Oofed. Okay. The sword comes out.
5. Go over the barricade, and then I will convert my action to another move and just move forward.
Okay, so you're just advancing down the alleyway alongside Pioneer and Snapshot.
Yeah, I'll be right up next to Snapshot.
Okay. The civilian who has now been released by the Badoon grunt that Snapshot has shot twice is going to flee. She's not going to flee towards the Badoon to the south that is advancing, but equally she is not going to flee towards you at the moment because you're all brandishing firearms and suits of armor. So instead she's going to dash to the south east down towards this kind of you see a red Ford Fiesta parked up, and she kind of dashes and takes some degree of cover alongside this Ford Fiesta, hoping for the best as she does so. And we're going to move to round 2, which is going to start out with Pioneer.
Slightly unbalanced. Pioneer kind of tries to right themselves and then moves up towards the nearest Badoon. There's some flickering inside the cockpit as Dr. Appleby moves the Pioneer suit's arm up and swings down in the rough direction of the Badoon. He doesn't seem like he knows what he's...
Not really traded hand to hand.
And he's going to try and use... He's going to try and use Clobber.
Okay, try and use Clobber. So you have trouble on this because you were obviously getting readjusted after the impact.
So we've got 13 for roll that.
So yeah, you're gonna have to re-roll a 6 there into another 6. Nice. Okay, so that is going to be 13 damage to him. He's already been shot twice as you come up and just sort of wild swing the huge metallic arm of the Pioneer suit. That is going to knock him out. How does that happen, Kenny?
I think actually when he swings down, he actually misses the Badoon the first time, but as he turns the center mass of the body, his other hand accidentally smacks him in the back of his head and knocks him over.
Okay, I like
He kind of looks over his shoulder at Lionheart and Snapshot and says, "It's not designed for combat. It's supposed to be a piece of scientific equipment."
Well, you're doing the sweet science on them, Doctor. Keep it up.
What? Oh no.
Stay on target.
Okay, Christopher, you have seen the Pioneer suit dispatch one of these Badoon, but you see one up on the it's called a gantry, the kind of metal grating.
Yeah, catwalk.
Yeah, up on this kind of gantry, and you can hear the footsteps coming from the south as another individual is clearly closing on the scene.
So Christopher's gonna kind of jump over this barricade in front of him, moving forward, and he's gonna start unloading the pistol up at the balcony.
Okay, so he kind of running forward, running, gunning, popping off a few shots at the Badoon up on the top of the stairway. Go ahead, give me an agility check. Are you going past Snapshot and Lionheart, or are you going to kind of fall in behind them?
I'm falling in behind them, so I've ran around the corner and then I've got the pistol raised. And it's less accurate shooting than maybe theirs is, but it's enthusiastic shooting.
He's keen. So that is going to be a 10 against the agility defense of the Badoon. That is not enough, unfortunately. You pop off a few enthusiastic shots, but whether it's a combination of the rain in your eyes, the dim lighting, or just your general incompetence with a firearm.
There's got to be something to remember here. Christopher is a media relations manager. He is not an active field agent.
He's not a combatant, yeah.
It's true. But good on him for coming into the field regardless. Snapshot.
So I'm going to move up a little bit to get a better angle on things, because I'm hearing those footsteps to the south as well.
Yep.
I can move up to... I don't think that guy is in range of my... Oh, they are.
Yeah, they're both within range of your pistol.
Yeah, I have 2 targets that I can shoot. Snapshot runs up, sees the second Badoon or third Badoon really, down the alley, and fires off 2 shots, one to our upper right and one straight down Main Street.
I think when you get the opportunity, you need to take a signature attack with Snapshot.
And it will be Snapshooting, yeah.
Okay. So it's going to be the same dice roll against both of them.
Okay. 14 to hit both of them.
14 to hit both of them will hit both of them.
Okay. They take half regular damage, so they take half of 15, which is 7 each.
7 each. Okay. So yeah, you pop off 2 shots. You manage to graze both of them, certainly drawing their attention. It is unfortunately then the 2 Badoon grunts to go. They are both going to turn their pistols on Snapshot as you just shot both of them. Pioneer, would you like to interpose again against one of these?
I am going to interpose. I'll step over this Badoon and interpose between the one to the south, I think. I don't think I can actually get in the way of both of them.
Yeah, no, you can only get, unless you had 2 reactions. So yeah, you step over the downed Badoon, kind of putting your armor in front of Snapshot. So again, I'll roll for the one that you're interposing against first. Oh, that's terrible. So it's an 8, so I don't think that would hit either of you. As that just kind of pops off a few shots, and then it kind of takes cover behind this barricade to the south. You see it runs up behind a kind of concrete barricade and ducks down. The one up above you on the gantry is going to also take a shot down at Snapshot, and this one is not interposed, so this is going to be directly at yourself, and gets a 15 on your agility defense.
Yeah, that's a hit. I've got a 13 on my defense.
Okay, so you have sturdy 1 from your armor, so you will negate its damage modifier essentially. So you will take 8 points of damage, and that's energy damage specifically, as a laser shot kind of takes you in kind of your forearm as you're popping off shots. You feel it kind of searing into your flesh, and it is then Lionheart to go.
I will shout the volume next to the red car. To target.
Okay, Lionheart.
2, 3, 4, 5, and I will just convert to a move again. Not please.
Okay, so you're running kind of the length of the chain link fence and then dashing down to the one at the south?
Yeah, I'm going to engage him. I'm going to move
Okay.
right up to get his face.
So you come running kind of alongside the concrete barrier that he's taken some cover behind, and you're now standing over him with the claymore brandished.
What?
Okay. At this point, the civilian continues to flee into the car park. She now runs behind this lovely orange van that is kind of parked in the back of the car park. She's taken as much cover as she kind of can from all of this. It's a new round. It's Pioneer to go again.
Okay. How sturdy is this metal gantry?
The gantry itself looks like it could probably support your suit of armor. However, the ladder that you need to climb at the base of it for the first 10 feet looks fairly thin. You could certainly try and ascend it, but with your scientific mind, the odds are fairly low that it can take the weight of the suit of armor.
With that in mind, then, I would like to try and run up to the gantry, jump, grab a hold of it, and try and yank it down, or at least try and pull it enough so the guy might fall off.
Okay, that's cool. I like that. So you're kind of going to grab the base of the gantry and try and pull the supports out almost from underneath it. Okay, yeah, and you have Mighty 1.
Yep.
Okay, so the suit does give you a degree of super strength. So yeah, go ahead and give me a melee check. I'm going to say the difficulty for this is going to be 13.
At 16.
Okay, you smash it. Yeah, so you come out underneath, you kind of grab 2 of the metal supports and kind of wrench down. You feel the Pioneer suit kind of kicking in as it kind of all the pistons and things that you've kind of built into it to augment its strength kick in, and you watch as this entire gantry kind of shifts down and becomes almost like a villain slide, as kind of the stairs turn into like a slide, and the Badoon at the top is tipped off. Now I'm going to give him a very difficult check to try and basically throw himself back with his reaction, but he's not really got the best reactions. He's going to need a really good roll here. I'm going to say this is going to be difficulty 15 for him to stop himself falling. He gets a 14, so he sort of falls down, and you see him sliding down, and he kind of catches on at the last second, and we watch kind of his fingers one at a time like give, and then he just tumbles down and lands at the feet of Pioneer and Snapshot in kind of a bundle on the floor. I'm going to say he takes a little bit of damage as well. He has fallen a couple of like a story in a bit, so I'm going to roll 2d6 of damage for him. He takes 3 damage. So manages to soften his fall a little bit, and he is now at the feet of Snapshot and Pioneer. It is then Mackenzie to go.
Yeah, so Christopher, kind of seeing that these guys seem to have that alien in hand, he's seen the civilian running off, like hiding behind that van now. How far can I move if I spend my full turn just going full out?
So if you can basically take a double move, so you can take both your actions as moves, which allows you to move. I believe you've got to move at 25 feet.
So I will do.
You can move effectively 50. So if you run to the end of the chain link fence, that
And
kind
then
of
round
is
the
keeping you
corner.
on the other side,
Yeah,
and
that's
then
what I'll
round the
do.
corner, you can get halfway across the car park to the civilian.
And I'm going to be shouting across to her, hey, it's not safe, get back here.
Okay, come here, you. Okay, Snapshot.
Snapshot is going to look up at Pioneer as he sort of like slam dunks this gantry, and thank you. She's going to double tap the Badoon that's at their feet.
Okay, on point blank.
17 to hit.
17 definitely hits. Yep.
It would take regular damage. There's no fantastic there, so it's 13.
So that's 13 damage on top of the damage it took from the fall. Okay, he is definitely the worst for wear. Is that kind of, you point blank just like pop a few shots. He screams as a few of the bullets land into his sort of leathery green flesh.
I'm then going to move around to this entrance of the chain link to try and intercede if he was to try and go for Mackenzie.
Okay.
And that's me.
Excellent. The Badoon grunt that's now at the feet of Pioneer, who's kind of been falling down, is going to scramble to his feet. And he kind of staggers back from you, Pioneer. Laser pistol raised, he just pops off shots into you. We know these aren't going to do anything, but let's see if he gets fantastic success. He's kind of panicked. No, so yeah, he just shoots the laser, and you just ting, 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 just these laser blasts just dissipate on your suit of arms. You kind of raise your hands instinctively to block them. Lionheart, you've moved down. Not the fist. It's my prescription. You've moved down to the south. You've kind of moved past this concrete barricade to engage the other one. As it sees you come in, it falls back about 10 feet. Its own pistol in hand. It's going to pop off a shot at you, Lionheart, with the laser pistol. That is going to be a 14 against your agility defense.
No, I
Okay.
do 31.
You have sturdy one from the armor, so it's not a fantastic success, so it's not going to do anything to your armor. It is going to do 6 damage, however, after the sturdy. So it does get through the armor, and you do feel the kind of the sear of the laser fire. However, it is then you to go, Lionheart.
Okay, I will move up and engage him.
Okay, you charge into the Badoon, Claymore swinging in the air.
They were swinging in the air, and I will go for a vicious throw.
Vicious strike. Okay, that is an 11 against its melee defense. That is not going to cut it. You could use your point of karma to re-roll one of those dice if you want.
I'll re-roll the...
You could re-roll the 1, or you could re-roll the 2 on the Marvel dice and hope for a better Marvel dice and higher damage.
Yeah, I'll re-roll the 1. The 2, sorry.
The 2 on the Marvel? Okay. So spend your point of karma so you can knock that off. Just don't roll another 2 or a 1. That's not what you want.
Why do you say these things?
Intentionally. To jinx you.
The 1.
It's a 1, okay. So you get a 1.
Oh.
You keep the higher of the 2, which is the 2, but it is still a miss. So as you come in, the kind of momentum that this Badoon has kind of built up fleeing from you keeps carrying him, and you swing and fall just kind of short. The Claymore slams into the concrete and kind of gives a resounding metallic ding as it falls shy of the Badoon's escape. The civilian kind of looks around the side of the van as you're approaching Mackenzie. She sort of is very clearly very rattled. She says, "Who are you? Where have you come from?"
I'd love to say that there's the reinsurers from Mackenzie, but he's just going to be like, why are you still here? The city was evacuated days ago.
Okay, we'll address that in a moment. She stays where she is for the moment. She hasn't come out of her kind of spot hiding behind that van. Pioneer, it's you to go. There is a Badoon 5 feet to the north of the alley from you, as well as the one engaged with Lionheart 20 or so feet to the south.
Step forward and say, "Stop shooting at us!" and swing to try and knock the gun. But I'm actually just swinging for the Badoon.
Okay, so you're just swinging for damage. No trouble this time. Are you doing another clobber then, you said? Okay.
Yep.
Go for it. It's going to be a melee. 12 is a hit.
It's 9 points. 9 points of damage.
9 points of damage is going to be enough to knock him unconscious. How do you knock this Badoon unconscious?
So he swings up at the guy's pistol arm and knocks his hand back, and he ends up smacking himself in the head with his own gun and falling over.
Okay. Yep, his gun slams up into his face, kind of accelerated by the momentum from your power suit, and he kind of staggers back into a dumpster behind him and just kind of slumps down against the dumpster.
Sorry.
Pioneer, do you want to move at all from your current position?
Yes.
So you've moved up to the north, but then you're kind of falling back down to the south towards Lionheart and the Badoon. Okay. Christopher.
Yeah, Christopher's got to use his move to get up to the corner of this van right next to the civilian. And he's just going to kind of take cover with his gun pointed in the direction where those other aliens came from. And he's just going to look behind his shoulders like, get down, get in cover.
Okay. You say that. She kind of is nodding. You see she's kind of hunched down behind the van. She's kind of in the midst of a bunch of trash bags as well. Not a pleasant scene or place for her to be in. She's kind of huddled away from you. And you're just kind of setting up a bit of overwatch around the corner in case any of them advance on you.
You know, Christopher recognizes this is not his wheelhouse, so he's just doing what he can.
Okay. Snapshot, you're up.
Gonna move to here, so just a little bit in front of Pioneer. So I'm not shooting through Lionheart to get to the Badoon, and I'm going to double tap this one.
Okay.
That's going to be a 12 to hit.
12 is definitely a hit.
Okay, 13 points of damage.
Okay. So you managed to get a decent shot off, even with sort of Lionheart semi-engaged with the Claymore. You pick your moment, take a shot, and you get a fairly solid hit into kind of the what you assume is the abdomen, at least, of this Badoon. It is the remaining Badoon to go. You see, he's kind of looking around. He sees the three of you now advancing down the alleyway. He's got Lionheart in his face with a Claymore. Pioneer sort of 10-15 feet up the alley advancing down, and you now at short range popping off shots. He clearly recognizes that he is outgunned and outmanned here. Turns tail, and you see him flee out into the streets, kind of full speed away from you, just into a full break down the alleyway, and turns around the corner into a main road. Lionheart.
Did I follow up behind him and pop off one shot at him?
Yeah, you can run to the end of the alleyway, point break style, as he's kind of fleeing from you. You can pop off a shot.
13.
13 is going to be a hit.
For 11.
Okay. You get a shot kind of into his back, kind of grazes perhaps his ribs. You see him kind of knocked forward as the shot slams into him, kind of breaking through the remnants of his combat armor. But he kind of staggers, but he's still on his feet, still running at the moment. We're going to flash over to the civilian. She's kind of hunched down behind you, Christopher. Again, sort of amidst this rubbish, you could smell like the stench of like weeks old trash here. And she's like, I didn't flee. I didn't want to. I didn't want to leave my home. It's really hard to get a decent bedroom apartment in London Centre. I thought people would be back soon.
Are you kidding me?
It's really hard to get a rent-controlled apartment. Pioneer, you're up.
Wasn't aware there were any rent-controlled apartments in London.
It's more of an American thing.
The guy's run away.
He has.
You see the Pioneer armor wipe its backhand against the face plate and go, well, I'm glad that's over. I'm not taking any actions.
Okay, Christopher's
going to peek his head around the corner of the van, see that there's no immediate threat here. He's aware we've made a lot of noise, we're not going to be able to stay here. He's going to look back at the civilian. What's your name?
Emily Taylor.
He'll reach down with his spare hand, kind of to gesture to help her up. It's like, come on, up you get. We're getting out of here.
She will take your hand. You kind of pull her to her feet. We'll move over to Snapshot as you're doing that.
Sort of same time as Lionheart. She's going to run up alongside him and try and snap off one last shot at him.
Okay, go for it.
15.
Okay, yep, you dash the end just as you kind of see this Badoon grunt. He's kind of picking up a bit of momentum. He's starting to disappear into like the debris mist and the rain, you pop off that one shot and you see like he slows down. The momentum seems to fall out of him as his body just collapses onto the tarmac of the road. You have put down the last of these Badoon grunts, but you would, especially Snapshot and Lionheart at this point, you would be conscious that you have made a lot of noise in doing so.
Okay, we gotta keep moving. She says as she stands up, checks her ammo, and puts the pistol back in the holster and follows Lionheart back up the alley.